Okay, so I think I can continue. Yesterday, yesterday I was too tired that I even didn't notice that the reason why if template has been called multiple times, simply because it's been declared. I'm not sure if that's correct view. Just 1 second. Yeah, I think this one. No, sorry, no. Where was it? Yeah, this one. So if we take a look at the page source, then we will notice that yeah, I think we'll notice that this if template has been declared as a child node of if for each template, which got the size of like five numbers, right? 5 songs, and we kind of like filter them out. And yeah, and also this morning I took a look at why if element is not being activated by itself, and the reason also is quite simple, is because when we are mapping some element, or rather mapping element must be always template, which is ironic, but I mean, I would prefer to call this class like template with mapped object. It would be more fair. So the reason why if template is not being released is just because nothing or activated. It's because we're releasing all the content inside of mapping template right after mapping. So first thing, we're just mapping in order to avoid any in order to avoid any activation, premature activations, right? And only then we are releasing templates, and this is how it works. So in other words, in other words, I think we should be very careful when we declare variables in conditions and etc. So yeah, the framework has its own limitations, and they're quite tricky. I even don't know them all, and this is something I need to work in the future for sure. But this is something that would be enough for me at this point of time. So I can just, without any doubts, write logic for each, and call it a day, so to speak. So okay, so let me think on how can I choose this. I think I'm gonna copy this method. Of course, I would probably extract this thing out of this class and put it somewhere else, but the reason I don't want to do this is just because it will create a lot of noise in global scope of files, and also simply because this function is always specific for certain elements, and just because if and if for each must probably have the same appliance of expressions in the strings, I think I'm just gonna copy this because sometimes it's better to copy paste rather than deal with confusions in the future, so to speak. So probably I'm gonna somehow overcome this problem, but I think for now it's not that critical. Yeah, and also I would achieve that by this some sort of consistency, and yeah. And what comes to activation, that is that so let me think. So yeah, I'm probably gonna copy this thing regardless. Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm gonna call this node. Of course, I need this thing. Okay, so get body of expression, which is an interesting function. Let's copy this thing. Yeah, let's copy below. Okay, now okay, so item content node. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't need mapping here. And okay, so content node, insert before. Just 1 second. Yeah, I'm just curious. Oh, okay, so we are just simply replacing the whole thing. Okay, fair enough, I suppose. Just simply here we're we're inserting before, just simply because we need this separation. I mean, yeah, I just didn't want to probably write else branch here, so fair enough. All right, I hope it would work. And yeah, I think that's about it. So let me just copy that example that I had in mind, like this one. Yeah, so let me go to the examples. Let me create new example, which is called, let's say, E for each separate .html. Or rather, Yeah, I mean, why not? And let's find the index page. Okay, so let's copy this thing. I forgot the name. If for each separate. Okay. Let's remove this thing. If for each separate. Separate. If for each for global variables, I think something like that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now? That's a good question. So let me go through examples and find something that I can use as a base. Yeah, this one is all good. I'm not gonna do heavy testing because I believe it won't definitely break anything that's been implemented before. But I'm just afraid if I find something that related to collisions between simple objects and, like, I don't know, mapped objects, then it's gonna take me forever to fix, and I'm not sure that there'll be such problem, but I just don't want to waste time on testing. If something comes up and in the process of development, then I will catch it. Otherwise, I don't think it's worth my time right now. So, okay. All right. I don't think I need anything like this. Let's remove. And now let's copy this thing. So here we're iterating global variable, and yeah, let's see if it works. So, okay, something went terribly wrong. Initialization is not defined. Initialization is not defined. It's simply because we don't have any initialization. So yeah. Oh, this is not the correct place. Just a second. Yeah, this thing is not necessary, I suppose. Yeah, okay. Okay, it's not been built. So what's going on? Node is not defined. Somewhere I forgot to touch this prefix. Okay, can you tell me where? Okay, see. Fair enough. Yeah, I think now this will be okay. Let me refresh. I don't see though the numbers, unfortunately. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. Data texts. Okay, so yeah, probably something's going on here, like list fragment, create document fragment, list for each. Why am I creating fragment here? It's a bit weird. No? I don't know. I don't think I'm releasing this thing, or maybe I do. Huh. Yeah. Alright, so let me just log out this list fragment and see what's going on there. Maybe it's not even been created here. I don't know. At least I don't see any errors. Okay, yeah, I don't see this. Okay, so how it worked here? Let's see. We got list fragment and we're importing this thing. Oh, okay, so for some reason it doesn't kind of like call this thing. Okay, maybe the list is not evaluated properly. Let me check this thing. Actually, it's been evaluated properly, but okay, I even see something here. Children, length null. Okay, yeah, that's kind of interesting. You know what? Let me just check myself. New array, then for each let's say okay, that's weird. Yeah, this thing works, but this thing doesn't work. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, so I'm thinking like maybe yeah, I don't know how to define array with zeros, something like that. In JavaScript. Okay. Yeah, there is a fill function. Okay. So let me check if it would work in this case. I mean, that's a bit weird. Oops. Maybe for each is not available? Oh no, it's available. Okay. So if array is filled with empty elements, then it's not getting iterated. So this thing is just capacity for the length, not the length itself, I think. Although, let's be honest, alright? If we do something like this, and I'm gonna put this number, it will tell 10. And it would work if I'm using like regular loop. But if not, then for each will not work. So the main question here is, should I leave like this, or should I replace with simple loop? I think even for performance reasons I probably need to replace with simple for loop. Yeah. Okay, so I think we can go for it. So here we just declare an index, which is 0, index less or equal to list, or rather just less than list length. And now we just copy what's inside of this for each here. Okay, now let's remove this thing, and let's run the examples. Okay, now item is not defined. Okay, fair enough. List index item initialization. Okay, so probably I need just use this thing. Okay, let me think. Yeah, I think I need to use this expression right after, and use this thing here. Okay. Now let's go run again, and I think that, am I using ground here or yeah. Yeah, I think I'm still using ground build system. I'm gonna get rid of this thing anyways, but for now it's For now, it's, I think, works anyway, so let me just go here. I can set properties of undefined. Oh, okay, so it's simply because okay, let's just create simple object, I guess, right? If it's not defined, it means that it's empty, and we anyways need I don't know, some sort of, but I'm just assuming that everything comes to the array is simple. I don't know, like it's map of objects, which is I don't know. So I need to probably check that if type of item is object, then only then we are doing this thing. Yeah, otherwise it will break a lot of things. Okay. Alright, so number is not defined, number is not defined. I think it already goes to this example. I mean, data item name is number. So why isn't it defined? Okay. That's getting ridiculous. Let's go and check. Const number. By the way, if it's, let me just let me check one thing. So let's say new array like 10, and let's say I'm gonna take 0. Okay, it's undefined, I get it, but but it's like saying that number is not defined, but actually it is defined. What do you mean? I mean, yeah, I think it's unnecessary. Or maybe not, just let me think. Item initialization. I mean, is there any chance that I would probably... No, I mean, it's just item name. Yeah, here it does make sense, I think. Item initialization. Yeah, I'm a bit confused. Just 1 second. So initialization and P1. Oh, okay. So here we just evaluating P1, but it's not the only thing that we need to evaluate, right? We need to evaluate yeah, I think we need to, you see, this is what I mean, like already at this point, like this function is already working differently than in if. So this is why sometimes copy paste is really good idea, because you never know what kind of things will be different. And yeah. And I think that we need to somehow figure out how to, I mean, this is just simple item initialization, and in this case I think that yeah, this thing is strongly defined, so let's just evaluate this thing, like item initialization, and I think it should work. And another thing is I even don't see where this thing is being called, to be honest. It's not being even called here. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, number is still not defined. Yeah. I think it's just because yeah, I think it's just simply because we still need to apply mapping regardless. Okie dokie, so it's not that easy. It's not that easy. So if we got this function here, and and we need to apply object and map it somehow. But the main thing is, like, can I map this thing? can I map this thing? Okay. So yeah, so this is just simple class which takes an element and object, and we are evaluating some of those things, but yeah, we are not evaluating anything else. So we got mapping element, we got just simple element. So yeah, another thing that bothers me a bit is when we are replacing this thing and it's not in a DOM like per se. Is it like I mean, it works at the end of the day, but just a bit unclear, because I always thought that elements are being inserted when they kind of like in a DOM, and this thing I'm not quite sure, because we are just creating the document fragment, but we are not necessarily inserting it anywhere. So yeah, anyways, I need to focus on how can I map easily. I just can copy this function, but it's quite big. Do I really want this? I'm not sure. This is why I don't like classes. I shouldn't create this thing as a class in the first place, because right now I don't know what to do with this big huge thing. It's a kind of like isolated function in itself, but yeah, mapping element. So what should I do? Should I continue implementing this feature? Or should I find another ways to solve initial problem, which is grouping tests together? I don't know. I need to think. I need to do it in a smart way anyways. So I'm releasing template, and which is nice, but first of all I need to apply mapping. I think that I actually still can do this. If I simply don't delete this node and just simply map then it will map and release everything as I want. So yeah, I don't necessarily need this. Yeah. But again, I'm not assuming that mapping template for each which actually can be the case. So if I map E for each immediately, like here, will it cause problems? I don't know. It might cause problems, but let's see. So so we got this list fragment and which is nice. Now what? Now I don't think I need this thing here, but what do I need actually is yeah, maybe I should delete this whole thing. So now let me just create an import or require file which is called element with mapped object. Which is need to require from DOM experts. And now let me push here element and object. Okay, element and object. So element is this node, I guess, and the object is list fragment. Yeah, I'm not sure that's gonna work, but yeah, for some reason I need to value this thing, not call, which is another crazy stuff, but yeah. Anyways, it's not a constructor, but what it is. So we're here. Is not a constructor. Oh my god, what it is then? Okay, so let's log out this thing. It's a function. Yeah, I know it's a function, but goddamn, I'm pretty sure I'm calling it somewhere, right? There is no way I will not do this. So each time we are returning why isn't a constructor? I don't understand. Okay, so it's weird. If for each, and then we're calling this thing. That's not a constructor. Okay. Let me see how we are. Okay, yeah, I get it. Singdom experts. Anyways, what can we say? We can call this thing from async DOM. I don't know why do we need this, but it has nice API which is called, and I think that's all we need. Okay, let's see. Mapping element must have attribute data object name. Oh, okay, so yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. So I cannot use this thing, unfortunately. At least not in this manner. So, what should I do? What should I do? I can add I can simply add this attribute artificially, right? Probably, yeah. Probably. Okay, so let me think. Let me think. Yeah, I think in the sense in the sense I need this thing regardless. So and in general, I think I need sometimes the list name or reference to list in if for each. Okay, it's a nice additional feature. Probably, I don't know. Okay, so what should I do? I think I just can list fragment set attribute data object name, and let's say it's how can I call this thing? With definition. Okay, least to iterate, I think, or whatever. In the future, maybe I can attach some sort of additional attribute to this. How I would call it? Yeah, I have no idea. I need to think about it. List fragment set attribute is not a function. Yeah, it really is not a function. And by the way, I think I don't have a privilege here. I think I'm just using list. Yeah. Number is not defined. Yeah, still same error. Okay, so I think that in general I'm on a good path, but I need to figure out how to map properly because it's not like I got some interesting ideas, but I need some object which I can kind of like relate to, and yeah. And also this thing wouldn't work, I think, is because I need somehow to iterate. So for example, if I'm using if for each, let's say, I'm still calling the mapping, but I'm also iterating the list. Whereas here, I'm not iterating nothing. So yeah, that's a bit sad, but that's the reality. And I need to think about how can I actually activate it for each. Maybe I can actually, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe. Yeah, I need some initialization. I need like item name. Yeah. Okay, so I think I need this mapping thing with all this logic here. So probably some refactoring is required because in this case I don't really want to copy paste everything, but yeah. But yeah. Luckily the code is written more or less sensible, so in a sensible way, so I can extract those functions. I even can keep the structure of this class, but like in my particular case in for each, I just can't. I just can sort of reference to those functions. So yeah, it's not the progress that I wish I would get today, but I got the clear understanding how mapping works in relation to activation elements and how I can proceed. So I think, yeah, I will need to extract those functions and just call this map. Although I'm just thinking right now is like I have mapping element, probably have Do I have mapping element? That's the question. And what's the difference between just element? Yeah, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's because I'm using the item content node. Okie dokie. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to find the shortest way. And yeah. I'm just trying to figure out, can I actually... Yeah, I'm trying to kind of like, by number of pages, somehow iterate those things. Yeah, this feature will be really, really helpful. I can create a hack, by the way. I just can create an endpoint which will by number of pages return some sort of... Actually, yeah, I can do this, and I'm pretty sure it will how to say, it will require less effort from me. I just can make a JSON call by number of pages and return the list of number pages, like a kind of funny endpoint which does this simple thing, and on the response I can iterate those things and it will work. Maybe I can pursue this path, not spending time on expanding HTML. Actually, you know what? I think that this thing will require a lot of refactoring, and I think it's a good idea, and in general to expand it for each. But for now, if I'm going to take a heuristic approach here, then I don't really need this thing if I got some sort of, how to say, yeah, making like separate HTTP call. But on the other hand, it's like it's for tests. It's not that, it's not that demanding. So yeah, so after all, I think I don't really need to adjust this thing here, so because I'm just gonna I'm gonna implement this later when I really need it, because it's not that I need often those things, I guess. I'm gonna just, call a JSON template which will, by number of pages, return me the array of elements, and I can simply map this thing more easily, and I will know for sure that it will work. So yeah, so I will proceed faster. I won't break anything, and when time will come, I can easily replace these things. So yeah, so the biggest progress today is realizing that I don't need to do unnecessary work, which is really good thing to have. Of course, not many people would agree with me, even I, not completely how to say, fascinated by this idea, but it will require less effort from me, and I can just proceed with the main goal, is just to implement this MIDI expert, because I don't really want to be distracted by adjusting my frameworks and like adding features there. Because I will just try to simplify this framework as much as I can when time comes. But yeah, at least you can call it the technical debt for sure, but this kind of technical debt is kind of elegant one, when you're just simply making work around the fact that you don't have some features in your framework. So yeah, I think it will be very interesting. Yeah, and it will work because like I guess these templates work quite well. So yeah, and this is I think something I will do as the next thing.